why didn't I play golf? Why didn't I play tennis or something like that? I break my collarbone fourth game against Texas, and it's like, I've never been injured before in my life. How am I going to handle this? And a lot of great memories and moments to learn from.
I think you injured your collarbone twice.
Almost every quarterback I played with or talked to has broken their collarbone. It's the most, it's the most common bone broken in your body. Herbert broke it when he was at Oregon. I broke it that one time in 2021 and didn't get surgery on it. Kind of wish I did, and then rehab the next year and stay and compete for the job and with the new staff and McGuire. And then, first game, 2 dudes shove my back and break it again, snap it in half, and it's like, oh, like what are we, like, what's going on? Like, why? A lot of questions going through your mind. Why me? Why is this happening? You're supposed to have this big breakout year. You're supposed to do this, and it really puts things in perspective to understand. Things aren't always in your control, and it's not always on your time. To where you have to understand, you have to kind of be positive every single day and have a good mindset and help people around you and do the best that you can to get back. And obviously was able to get back and come play. And yeah, I mean, it was just a great example of and for me, a great time to learn from those moments.
What was the set of tools that you learned over those few seasons that got you to a place now, knock on wood, full health this year and not looking like you're in a great mental state now? But what did you learn that helped you get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a combination of like I was saying before, faith, understanding that it's on God's timing. You can't, once you think you have control over certain situations, it's a blessing to go out there and practice and play. And that was a huge lesson learned at that point, because I could barely walk. I couldn't even move my arm at some points. And you go out there and practice and have fun, and it puts things in perspective. My wife, Jordan, her being there, girlfriend at the time, just the support I had from my teammates, the trainers, just I mean, I made so many mistakes, just being a kid, immature wise, not even understanding how to handle some of those pressures, dealing with failure, dealing with success, like I was saying before. I mean, it's you don't know those experiences until you go with them. And I think that's why I'm so prepared for the NFL at this point, because that happens in the NFL. It's going to happen. Nobody's barred from a season-ending injury or losing a game or throwing picks or winning. And so I think it's a lot of that was such great life and football experiences that you look at it now and it's like, oh man, I would do that over again for sure to get this point mentally. But yeah, I mean, I thought I couldn't have done it without that support system. But I would be lying if I said it wasn't the hardest thing ever. And you didn't feel like coming to the facility some days, and but it's part of that process.
What do you think the point was when you were at your lowest, and how did faith help you get through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're lying there in the training room and you're covered in sweat and your pads are still on and you're thinking, I mean, you can't move and you can feel your bones shifting around inside of you, and you're like, well, why didn't I play golf? Or why didn't I play tennis or something like that? But that's a very real thought that went through my head. But at the same time, like, what, like, why is this happening? Like, and then you get in a very dark place and you try and, do things to make up for that. And it's just like, that's not the answer. And you realize that this is God's timing, and he's put you in this moment to learn from it. And I think that's a very, real experience and raw form of understanding that, this is happening for you, not happening to you. And, I'm not perfect and not a perfect, believer by any means. And, need to pray and do all those things more. And, but I think it's just a great reminder that, these are happening, for you, and everybody goes through some form of hardship or adversity, and you have to kind of bounce back or respond from it. And so I think that was the greatest lesson I learned at that time. And, but it was for sure, a mental triumph and obviously physically. And, but like you said, a lot of ups and downs with that time there. But you learn so much and, getting to play against a lot of great opponents, and I think the relationships I built there and, was kind of the thing I remember the most and being such a great town in Lubbock and, it was a lot of fun for sure.
And how has being married helped you, this year playing? I have to imagine there's just a stability that comes from that that really makes everything else you do a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just for everything from a wanting to be there for your partner, a maturation process, a providing thing, support system from just like everyday food stuff, from a long-term mental side of it. She was there every step of the way at Texas Tech dealing, whether she was, not in the state or just, whether we were separated or whether we were together. Um, it was just, she was there just every step of the way mentally. And now obviously here, throughout this whole process, being actually married, it's been a lot of fun. Just, we have a dog now, the day to day, like it really changes your um kind of mindset whenever you're, a skinny freshman and you're living for, you know, obviously football, but you're freaking watching Fortnite YouTube clips in class and you're going back and playing video games at night in your dorm room and you don't really know what you don't know and you're just like go out there having fun and I guess now kids these days posting TikToks and stuff like that and what's the latest trends and it's like, well, I go home at night and I looking forward to walking my dog and playing crossword with my wife on, and I'm like, what if I don't even have a game console anymore? Like, what do I turn into? Like, what TV show are we gonna watch? And it's like, but I really enjoy that. It slows me down, dealing with our dog and just kind of taking those moments with her. And I think it's a great position to get into, understanding that, you know, this is a business investment coming here, and what you're doing in college, you have to take advantage of it. And you obviously want to have fun and make mistakes, and grow from them while you're in college. But um, it's been a lot of fun just having her here, and I couldn't do anything without her. And
And does it make it more real as you go prepare for the NFL to
Mhm.
go home to that wife and dog and
Yeah,
just see that, man, like I've been given this great luxury of having found this person. A lot of people, it takes
yeah,
a lot longer.
yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of just how it works. Like we really found each other when we weren't really looking for each other. And you kind of just build a relationship with that person. And we've talked about it multiple times is being here at Louisville and kind of the program that Coach Brown runs and the offense, and even with NIL nowadays is we've treated this as the next step before pros. It's almost like a professional tryout, or we're in the pros. Just kind of from how I treat every single day. Nowadays college players are getting paid to be there. Why are you going home? Like, the coaches aren't leaving, the treatment staff aren't leaving. Why are you going home to go take a 2-hour nap or go play video games or go do whatever? It's like, no, you should be here working on school, watching film, getting treatment, just because it's turned into your job. And obviously doing that before money, and you have to have balance and have a lot of fun outside of it. But you have to kind of treat it as if you're here to get better and you're here to help everybody else out. And that's kind of what I learned throughout this whole process of moving to different schools and being in 5 different offenses is how can you get that next step, above your opponent, above your competition within the quarterback room? How can you elevate the play of your teammates? And you don't know that until you kind of been through it or learn it or hear somebody else kind of talk about it. And it's obviously um, very unique now with everything that kind of come to fruition with technology, NIL, all that kind of stuff.
Is there a moment on the field where you felt most connected and really kind of felt like you knew there was something greater coming through you?
Yeah, I mean, I think just going out to practice again, and kind of running out again, on the field, against, SFP the first game this year and coming out to practice here when you didn't know if you were going to run again or you're going to be able to walk or do these things. And it's just like, man, this is such a blessing to come out here and be able to have the opportunity to do this. So it gives me a lot more confidence and calmness, just every single day. Just that it is kind of a treasure, and and it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. And it's not gonna be forever, so you might as well have fun and enjoy it and build those relationships. And but yeah, it was pretty special.